A 29-year-old Ohio rapist, a 10-year-old, and the sentence no one saw coming. Columbus, Ohio. An Ohio man has been charged with raping a 10-year-old girl whose case drew national attention. She was just 10 years old, a child whose world should have been filled with innocence and wonder. Instead, she was pulled into a nightmare. In Columbus, Ohio, a crime so horrifying it forced a child to cross state lines and exposed a justice system stretched to its breaking point. This is Yellow Tape Stories, and today we're uncovering the truth behind the tape. The story begins when Columbus police receive a referral from Children's Services. A 10-year-old girl is pregnant. Investigators soon learn she was only 9 when the assault happened. Not long after her 10th birthday, she traveled to Indiana for an abortion. Because Ohio's newly enacted heartbeat-based abortion ban wouldn't allow the procedure, DNA testing confirmed what no one wanted to believe. The fetus belonged to Gerson Fuentes, a 28-year-old man from Guatemala living in Columbus. A detective testified Wednesday at an initial court appearance for the 27-year-old suspect that Columbus police learned about the girl's pregnancy through a referral by Franklin County Children's Services that was made by her mother June 22nd, and that she had an abortion in Indianapolis on June 30th, the Columbus Dispatch reported. The public outcry was immediate. A child rape case, an abortion ban, a broken system. This was more than a crime. It was a national flashpoint at the intersection of law, politics, and morality. Police learned of the case after Franklin County Children's Services filed a referral on June 22nd. Because Ohio's abortion ban had gone into effect right after the Dobbs versus Jackson decision, the girl could not receive care in her own state. She had to leave a 10-year-old crossing borders to end a pregnancy born of violence. Then came another controversy. The detective said DNA from the Indianapolis abortion clinic was being tested to confirm paternity. An Indianapolis physician who provides abortion services had told the Indianapolis Star that an abortion had been provided for such a child because the girl couldn't get the procedure in Ohio under a newly imposed state ban on abortions at the first detectable fetal heartbeat. A judge lifted a stay on the ban after the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling overturning R. v. Wade. The Indiana doctor who performed the abortion spoke publicly about the case and was fined by the state's medical board for violating patient privacy. The story kept growing, revealing layers of failure, legal, moral, and human. Appearing Monday on Fox News, Republican Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost said he hadn't heard a whisper from law enforcement in Ohio about any reports or arrests made in connection with such a case. Another lie. Anyone surprised? Republican U.S. Representative Jim Jordan tweeted in reaction. Then, Wednesday, Jordan tweeted that the suspect should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. A message was left with his office Wednesday seeking comment. In the Fox interview, Yost suggested that the young rape victim would have met the Ohio heartbeat abortion ban's exception for medical emergencies. In July 2023, Fuentes pleaded guilty. The court sentenced him to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Judge Julie Lynch called the plea deal a hard pill to swallow. And she wasn't alone. For many, the sentence didn't match the damage done. For others, it was the only justice the system could deliver. But the real secret wasn't just the crime, it was the system itself. How the youngest of victims became part of an interstate legal saga. The sentencing may have closed the courtroom chapter, but it opened a new question. When a child is violated and forced to travel for care, what does justice really look like? Was justice served becomes more than a question. It becomes the heartbeat of this story. In the end, the tape says do not cross. But what about the invisible lines between states, between laws, between childhood and crime? This case reminds us, behind every headline is a life, a family, a story that deserves more than outrage. It deserves understanding. If you believe these stories deserve more than silence, subscribe to Yellow Tape Stories, turn on notifications, and check out our 3 new stories every day as we pull back the tape, uncover the truth, and seek real justice.